Welcome to TBC Life and Relationship Show by Nyandia. Today's topic is dating life in today's generation. A lot has changed when it comes to dating. People are more into dating apps, blind dates, connections. You have a friend of a friend of a friend. You connect us and we're good. We have those who don't want to get married at all. Those who are okay with having kids, and that is it. Those who are okay with being the side chick, no connection, no commitment, and those who are okay with being the second wife. Our guest today is a young man, a remnant of God and a financier, who has in one or another experienced these changes. And through our interaction today, we will understand how men feel about dating and how they are coping with today's changing dynamics. Let me welcome Mr. Alpha Paul Mwangi to tell us more about who he is, what he does, so we can get acquainted on this beautiful topic.
Fantastic. So thank you so much, Marcy. It's actually a privilege to be on TBC with you. So about who I am, first of all, my name is Alpha and Paul, and I'm Mwangi as well. As you said, I'm a remnant of God, and by that I mean I'm actually a son of God. In Scripture, there is those particular people that God actually reserved, to work His will and definitely do His bidding and His agendas on the earth. So I am amongst that, that particular group of people. And of course, the other side, I deal in a lot of things. I'm in car business, that is automotives, also in cryptocurrency and the likes of Forex and all that. So yes, and a lot of marketing. I mean, there is a lot I do, including politics, because especially politics in this time, because I'm in the place of wanting change for my people, for my nation, and most importantly, to run the things. And we want actually a nation which God leads, not just a nation, led by, any kind of force or principality. So the reason why I'm interested in these things is because we're in a time whereby dominion in this latter time is really important, of course, to God and to the people, of course, in this earth. So that's maybe in a short brief what I do. Thank you so much. Yes.
Nice. Looking at our topic, yeah, dating in today's life. How does your being a Christian affect your dating life?
Well, it doesn't really affect it, but it puts me at a place of discerning what is really best. Because, as a Christian, it is important to actually note that you really need to get a partner that is in line with that which you are. So it's not just about dating anyone who you meet, on your path of life. So I would say it really affects me in a very positive way. I know very well I'm not just meet and date anyone in that particular factor. So it's really a good thing to be a Christian, and especially to find a partner in that line of working, or in those kind of terms. Yes.
And have you ever been in a situation whereby you fall in love with this lady who's not a Christian, and yet uh, the heart wants what it wants, and you're there wondering, okay, am I doing according to God's will, or should I just back off and maybe wait for someone who's in line with what I believe in?
Well, that's a very interesting question. But of course, yes, I've been in that place, and it's quite tricky, but you really have to understand some parameters, especially on how God works. You see, when you relate to scripture, scripture says that he who finds a wife. So it is not very specific that he who finds a Christian wife. That is not what the Bible says. You see that? So it is out of compatibility. Because who knows? You could be the kind who is probably called to go and seek out into Arab nations, or a particular kind of side to, meet and interact and have a wife in that side. So yes, on your question, it has happened. And as a matter of fact, I am actually looking on that side. I am not looking to actually get, a Christian wife. I would rather go get on the other side and have them converted and know the way of Christ. You see that? So that is, those are the kind of things for me I'm usually up for. because I don't usually like the very simple things, because you meet a lady in church, you interact, she becomes, and then you guys end up in married, in the same church and all these kind of things. For me, I'm more of a complex thing, and I love interacting with God on a very personal level. So I mean, He's my Father. Why would my Father deny me the very best that I seek out? You see that? So I think I've answered you on that.
Yeah, but
Fantastic.
I agree. I completely agree. And have you ever used like a dating app to get
Yes.
your better half?
Well, yes, quite a number of them, I believe. That was, I think, 2 or 3 years back. I was still in campus, and all these thing about getting to know people from a different area, because my hometown is Naivasha, that is in Kenya. So I was moving all the way to study in university at JKUAT, that is in Nairobi somewhere, or let's say Thika. So I needed to get familiar with people and all that kind of thing. So that is a social site, and of course I got myself in that place. And well, the experience about it was not really something good as per now, how I can gauge it. But definitely, yes, I have really interacted with that, and quite a number of them. I think I know about Tinder, I know about Tantan, and I know about which other one? I think mostly those two. That is what I've really interacted with in the past 3 years. Yes.
And are you open to dating someone you've met in a dating site?
Well, yes, because it's
Having.
actually happened before.
Yeah.
I've actually dated someone from, that place, not one, not 12. So, well, yes, I'm open, because, you never really know how God makes you meet your partner. You cannot just say that you'll meet your partner in church. Who knows? Probably that partner you're supposed to bring her to church, even as a Christian, maybe from a different place, and, definitely get to be engaged in all that kind of thing. So, yes.
And what are some of the challenges that you're facing with our generation of women and dating? Is it the same as it were like a decade ago, or are there things that have changed when it comes to dating, our expectation, how we get into a relationship? Are there some changes that you realized through the years of you dating?
Well, quite a big change, because I remember when I used to see my mom and my dad, definitely from their courtship years, because I really can remember a lot from my past. Um, you get to see that in the current time, people love to quicken things so much, and by that I mean, you don't really take time to understand, or rather see through to that which you are getting yourself into. I'll talk also from a perspective of the ladies, or let me say the women. There has come a very, very strong form of independence that has come with the girl child, and that has at some point, or rather to some level, affected the kind of mindset, or rather mentality, that is really affecting most of the girl child. Because I'll still refer to scripture that a lady, or rather a woman, is supposed to be a helper, to a man. But when you look at things right now, you find most ladies putting themselves at a higher bar, in terms of dating, or rather being in a relationship. And at some point, how men are created, or rather how man is created. He's created from a place of authority, or rather from a place of being head of a family. So the moment that is withdrawn, that means the way he functions, or rather the way he's supposed to interact as a family unit, is also altered. These things are not so much seen in the physical, but definitely being a man and being, running in the race of a boy child, it's actually something that happens. Because you see, that's why you see sometimes a man would rather spend, days, or rather his moments being away from the house, because they find a nuisance when they got back home, or rather when they get back home, they don't find that particular place of respect, or rather that particular place of being taken as the head. You see that? So it really puts the boy child, or rather the male particular factor here, in a place of um, a degrading kind of place, and that is not a place that most men really accommodate, or rather are familiar with. So that is amongst the things. But definitely also to note, not to really throw away the factor that, a girl is supposed to be empowered. But, when you look at things, the mentality that comes with this particular thing of an independent woman is what is really wrong. You see that? Because, yes, even a married woman is independent. You see that? A woman, or rather a married lady who is submissive to the husband is independent, because you'll find her, taking care of the kids, going to work, doing all these things. So it's really more of a mentality that I'd say sprang off from the wrong side of the spirit, that is causing women to get a particular notion that I can be on my own. That's why you see there has been now coming up so much issues about genders, people wanting to be, whether it's a lady wanting to be with another lady, or a gentleman, so that at least they can get to feel um, a belonging or a sense of responsibility in terms of being ahead, especially being ahead. So it's been a point of fighting for that position. Whereas, if you look since the generations that began, it was really supposed to be the man as the head, and the lady comes as a helper. Yes, yes.
Okay, so according to you, when you look at empowerment, we're talking about women empowerment, yeah. There also needs to be an aspect of also men empowerment. I think, okay, from what you're saying, yeah, as much as women are empowered, men also need to be empowered on how to handle the empowered women, because
Yes, yes.
I think with the empowerment, power comes with so many things. It comes with a lot of power. It can either be good or bad. So I think also, as we empower, what you're trying to tell us is, as we empower women, you also teach us on how to have that empowerment, but still be the wife in the house, how to still be empowered, but still be submissive. And also think, also it comes also for the men. How do you handle these empowered women? How do you care for them? How do you understand them? How does this empowerment affect your marriage? How do we define this empowerment in terms of marriage? Because at the end of the day, we have a home, you're a wife, and there's this notion of what a woman should do, how she should behave in the house. And yet here I am. Okay, let me ask you a question. Yeah, assuming that we are married, and I'm the one providing. You maybe don't have a job, or something has happened to you. How do you expect me to behave as the breadwinner in the house?
Well, I'll answer that in two ways.
Yeah.
So I would really want the listeners to relate to their side, because I think that has two ways of, the dice. Well, first thing, it is not a good place for a man to be provided for as such, because you see, being at the head puts you at a place of providing for the family. It is more of a responsibility for you to actually do that, and not the lady, because, I will still take it back to scripture. The lady is supposed to be a helper. So when that is changed, definitely even the paradigm of the functioning of that particular family unit is altered. And that is something that, really needs to be reunited back to the right way of things. But of course, being a helper puts you in a position of supporting that husband, or rather supporting that person that you have as a partner. By that I mean, um, in this particular kind of life, we have grown to a place of knowing that actually, things do come, and even just for the fact that you are a helper, it means that there is a helping particular thing that you're supposed to be doing. And by that it means there could be this man who probably is not doing so well in terms of the current moment, but he's actually working on something into the provision of the family. You see that? But what's not right is a man to sit down, have everything done by the wife, or rather by the partner, without him really doing anything in that matter. So in the first place, that is not supposed to be a marriage. But of course, if the wife the wife is probably helping out because probably the husband, fell at some point, so she should be a supporting unit for that. So I believe I've answered you on that one. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Let's go from that topic. And according to you, does education matter when it comes to finding a partner? Which level she's gone to, how far she's gone? Are you okay with dating a PhD? yet you have a diploma, or dating a class 8 dropout, yet you have a PhD? Does it matter?
Well, I'll put it out so strongly that for me, it doesn't really matter, because I don't really think there was a particular formula, or rather a criteria that was written from the beginning of time of how you're supposed to find a wife. You see that? It was put as a mystery because I could be a king that goes into a particular place and finds a villager and takes her as a wife. You see that? Or rather, I could also be a king, go to a particular place, into a king's palace, and probably marry the daughter. You see that? So for me, education is a plus tool. I'd say it's more of it's not really a necessity in marriage, because when you look at it, it really did not spring from the realm of God. We'll talk about that another time. But education was not really supposed to be what it is in the current state. But of course, education is also important in terms of helping out on things, especially in our current world right now. It is really essential, to do this and this, and probably at some point, those credentials are necessary in some things. But now, what people do is that they get to factor what is not important on the things that matter most. You see, because on things like love, which cannot be measured, are really trying to be put in a box of education. That probably I cannot love a person who does not have a PhD. I mean, you have probably done yourself the biggest mistake you have. You see that? Because probably the guy with the diploma is actually the one who will love you best. So I think people prioritize worldly satisfaction to that which is divine, and that which was actually springing forth from the beginning of time, the partnership, the union that comes in with marriage. So I think that's how I would answer that.
And also being a teacher, I can confirm that at times papers do not warrant you getting a hardworking or a smart individual. You'll find that they do not marry. At times, you'd rather have someone who has the willingness to learn and the desire to learn than have someone who has papers and yet they just fail. So for me, that's a good point. Being the HR, I've seen who have papers but when it comes to practical work, they are nowhere to be found. They're not able to perform.
But maybe I should add something on that particular perspective. Most men have come to a point of wanting to actually marry women who are not learned. I'd say that is a stupid criteria to actually look at things, because they are looking to be superior because they feel they are learned more than the lady. You see, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Things that are divine, or rather things which cannot be measured by anything natural, cannot be counted really on something that is as permanent as marriage. You see that? So it's more of a shifting of mentality that can really help people understand that which is prime, especially when it comes to reproduction, because it's more of creating more, rather filling the earth, which is a divine mandate that actually most Christians and most people in the world have really been fulfilling so well.
Yeah, and also it's also important as men, if you find your woman wants to go to school and advance, support them. And it's also an added advantage to the family, because two heads are better than one. As you're working as a team, you're going to do more than you alone. And what do you think about cost sharing? We never talk about cost sharing when you come into dating. And nowadays, most families, most of them break up because of the cost sharing. You have the husband, he's supposed to do ABCD, and he expects you as a wife to do ABCD, and then the wife expects him to do ABCD. What is your input when it comes to cost sharing, when it comes to expenses from the house to the house girl, to school fees, to everything? How do you go about it?
I'd answer it this way.
Mm-hmm.
In the first place, the man is the provider. You see that? Cost sharing is something that came up with this thing I'm telling you, the mentality about independence. I'm an independent woman, I'm an independent guy. Those things do not work. You see, the first place that people need to understand is that this thing was ordained that man needs to be the head. The lady is supposed to come in, or rather the wife is supposed to come in as a helper, not the other way around. You see that? So when she's helping, it means that she can actually help pay the school fees. She can help pay the house girl. She can help fix a few things here and there if maybe we are talking about financially. You see that? So cost sharing is something that did not spring from the right places. And I think also it speaks to some men. I don't know where it came from really, that a man should say that, I need to cost share with you. You know that if it's the kids, I need you to pay 50%, or rather 40%, I'm paying 60. That one I'd say really came from the realm of hell, and I don't really know where that really is springing from, because those things do not work. It's more of, you know what, babe, you know what, wife, this is what I have. I have this. Can you really top it up, because we really need to sort our son's school fees? You see that? So it's more from a helping perspective. It's more from a union. It's not really about cost sharing. So I mean, for me, is it's sad to see that the community we're in right now is really looking at some things like those. But definitely, I pray that people really catch up on these things, because there is not really much that is on that side.
It's important for us to discuss early enough in the
Mhm.
dating, so we don't end up getting surprised while in marriage. Have you been affected with sugar D and sugar M lifestyle? Sugar daddy and sugar
Well,
because that's
pretty
what is
much,
happening in today's society, yes.
pretty much.
Okay.
Um, but I think it used. I'll use it as a past tense. It used to affect me then, especially when I was really looking, or rather craving. Finding a partner is not from a place of it's not a want. It's more of something that really finds you on the way. You see that? But definitely it's very affecting, especially on the current society, because you find that a few parameters have been based on love, or rather, a few parameters have been put to actually uh, make people think in a particular way, in terms of, this is the partner I need to have, or this is what my partner needs to have. And the major factor has been affection and money. Those two things are very dangerous. And I'd quote something that I love to say, especially for men, that for a man who can control his emotions, his desires, and his money, is really a great man. So you find that most ladies are really looking to be satisfied financially. They crave to fit in into the society in a particular class of placement. And that is really sad, because you find now them going out to seek out for money in places which are not right, which is not even really, it is not even really straight. I mean, you find an 80-year-old man who, of course, has money, and is looking for affection. Probably, he's either celibate, or rather, probably the wife died, so the guy is a widow, or wherever it's called, a widower, or wherever. So you find that those guys are seeking affection, and because they have money at display, they feel they can literally or easily access that which they want in terms of affection. And of course, on the other side of the bank, there's this lady who's probably looking to drive, probably put on some good makeup, travel around the world and all these kind of things. So it comes as a point of exchange, and that is not how it's supposed to be. I'll still take you back to scripture. This thing is not springing from the right side of the spirit. Well, I'm a spirit man, as I told you, because I'm a remnant of God. This thing does not come out from the right place. Because when you look at things, it's said that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. You see that? So if you're with someone who is not your wife, there is no blessing that comes with that. Let's not be deceived. These small gifts that you get, these small things that that person actually gives you, that thing is not a blessing. It is actually coming to draw away from you. Because you see, I've heard of a common thing that's said by many people, that if probably an older guy is coming to be with a younger lady, is more of him trying to become younger. Well, I don't know where they got that from, and it does not make sense to me. But it's from a place of exchange, and love is not supposed to be exchange. Love is, I usually tell my friends, um, I tell my friends that I love them. And for me, it is coming from me. After all, it is the reason why I said it, you know. So me telling someone I love them does not necessarily make me expect a particular response or reaction from that which I feel. You see, so it's from a place of this is depth. We are talking about something that is not, love is not tangible. It's a feeling that can actually take you in a very crazy place. You see that, because it's divine, it's supernatural. You see, but most people love to deal with love from a natural or a physical perspective, and that's where they lose it, because it cannot be exchanged. I cannot come give you a gift to probably make you love me. That does not work like that. You know, love is a feeling, and it cannot be bought. You know, same thing happens to any kind of emotion. Those things cannot be bought. For some of us, if I do not have the kind of affection, probably in terms of the dating, the romantic kind of side, no matter how much gifts you bring me, it cannot actually bring up that side. Because as a matter of fact, there is a way, especially children of God need to take up these things. We need to understand there's a blessing that comes from, getting a wife. But of course, we do not treat these things with so much contempt of exchanging that, to make a girl love you, you have to take her to dates. Well, yes, it is very responsible for a man to do that, but it should not be the winning point. You see that? Because I mean, I've seen places, and we've had stories of guys who took ladies on dates, took them to a lot of places, paid their school fees and all those kind of things. And then, when they were rejected in terms of marriage, a lot of chaos happened. So that is a clear sign that love cannot be bought, and it cannot be exchanged by anything that is natural. Yes, yes.
Yeah, like there was a time I was watching Mainak again, and a lady was talking about her experience that she's met with this man. She lives in Rwanda, and every time the guy comes home, she's happy. And there are times where she would wish that this guy will never come home because yes, she lives in Rwanda, she has everything that she would ever ask for, but she's not happy. She's not at peace.
Wow.
I can't imagine getting married to a man where I'd rather he spends the night out than spend it at home. So it happens, and honestly, I just wish that both men and women would realize that there needs to be that connection. It's not about money alone. And then the day, there's a time that's going to come whereby that money doesn't matter. You want that peace of mind, you want to feel loved, you want to feel appreciated, you want to feel at home in that home. So yes, I appreciate your comment. And some men say that dating an older woman is better than dating a younger chick because they are more mature and they handle things. You're able to interact with them better. Have you ever dated an older woman? And is it true that they are more mature in the way they handle things as compared to a younger lady? Or yeah.
I think I can answer that in three perspectives.
Okay.
The very first one, well, I'm not very sure what an older woman, in what bracket that is, but I'm presuming is someone who is maybe 10 years or 15 years, over your age, because that definitely is old. That I'm talking about me being at 20 and probably dating a lady that is probably 35 or 40, or say, double my age. Well, I haven't, but from what I've heard, some of these things, like I'm telling you, Mercy, and of course the listeners, they do not spring from the realm of God. These things are coming out from the very, very deep darkness. Because when you look at things, I don't understand how you can even, out of logic, say that a lady that is more mature than you will treat you better. In the first place, that lady has dominion over you. Rather, she has more authoritative kind of perspectives more than you do. Maturity is not from a place of age. You see that? It's from a place of respecting each other. And that is what most people do not understand. You see, when you go and date an older woman, it arises the question, from whence is that relationship? Where did it spring forth? Because at some point, I could easily tell that probably there was that form of exchange. This one is seeking this, and this one is seeking this. You see, and when you look at them, most of them don't work. Or rather, there is a particular ending that either of them is actually looking towards. Because you see, for most guys that have heard about, getting to date older women, it's out of money. It's out of desiring to, get, financially stable or such kind of things. Because probably the older woman is not having probably a spouse or something like that. But that is not the right way of things. And actually, for me, I wouldn't necessarily categorize that as love. I would call it an exchange kind of relationship. You see that? So that that is not the right way to go. But of course, if, and this one is a very strong if, you're led and it is spirit led to actually have such, I think the Lord can actually reveal to you. But I mean, I have not heard about that because all the instances, I do read the Bible, all the instances, I really haven't seen that. And if there was really something to do with that, we would have known because, we would have at least have an example that has happened, in the days that were before us to at least tell us that, man, if you got born later, and this was your girl, you make sure you go for her. You see that? But I mean, someone who is having a 20-year difference ahead of you, or rather 15 years, I mean, it's not making tangible sense to say that that person is probably your dad or your mom. You see that? And being intimate with such an older person, of course, it's not the right thing. But also, that perspective, I'll say that it has become such a terrible thing that has been going on around our communities, majorly because of human rights. You see that? People are really campaigning for that thing, and it is taking our societies, or rather our people, into a very dark ditch. Because now most people are coming to understand that we should actually respect the emotion of every human being. But Mercy, it's from a point of asking yourself, where are your emotions springing from? You see, where is your love springing from? From which place are you getting now to get attracted to the other person? You see, so that particular human rights, I think our society has really lagged on that side, or rather, they have really ignored so much on that particular end. And again, I will tell you so boldly that it does not spring from the realm of God because I don't understand how that thing is supposed to work. Because as they started with such things, I have affection for this lady who is 40 years above of me. I mean, where is that coming from? This lady has probably seen double your life and you're getting attracted. Before you were even thought about in the third generation, so you're coming to love that person. So it's not out of sensible facts. Yes, yes.
Okay. And have you, okay, in this, that same topic, though it's different a little, have you dated a woman who has a child? And what are some of the, if yes, what are some of the challenges that you faced when you date a woman who has a child from another man?
Well, I'll give my own experience
Mhm.
because I actually have a son,
Okay.
but this lady is actually married to another man currently as we speak, and they have a family. There's another child as well. So I speak from a place of experience in that particular factor. But you see, um, I don't necessarily have a problem with that because when you look at our society right now, we might not really have been brought up with as much caution as was really necessary. Because you see, most people, like for myself, I was rather introduced to sex when I was literally 18. Like at 18, I knew about all those things. Well, yes, I knew about them before, but I experienced, having sex at 18 years. So when you look at that, I'll not say it's young and I'll not say it's old, but of course, it's from a place of understanding the values that guide society. Because most teens, or rather most kids right now, are growing up to a place of it is right to do that, and of course, it is from a place of they are not taught the values that come up with such kind of actions. You see that? So we are really bringing up a society that is not so responsible in terms of that particular side. So for me, I would, out of the point of understanding that this particular person might not have seen the light, especially when that happened. You see that? Because of course, for me, not that I'm campaigning that, I'm in that particular stage, but of course, being a Christian that I am right now, I actually got that kid about 3 years ago. So I was still in campus, all these dating things, having all these kind of things. So I'll not say it was a mistake because it never was, but it was from a place of it was not planned, it was abrupt. It actually distorted my school. I dropped out of school. So there's a lot of consequences that come in with actually such kind of actions. But of course, it's out of bringing up also a society, but also it starts from the family unit. As parents, we tell our kids that when you have sex, you can actually get a kid. You see that, and you taking care of a kid, and you are a kid is not actually how things work. So yes, and I can, but I would really want to understand the background from whence that person really engaged and actually got a child, because some of them might be out of tragedies, maybe like rape or such kind of things. Such people are really taken off our community, or rather, most men do not revere such kind of ladies. But who knows? The lady just might have happened to be on the wrong place at the wrong time. You see that? And probably some guys who are uncouth and not responsible enough to be up for their actions. So it really depends for you to learn a background. And of course, it's a learning point, especially for someone like me, because it has taught me a particular lesson. I will tell you as a matter of fact, since that time when this lady, because at some point when that happened, especially in my life, being a university student, and there's a baby who has just come, there's a lot of responsibility that definitely that comes with a kid. So, and my dad was like, I cannot provide for you and provide for the baby. You see that? So you be a man, yeah. In the first place, you had sex, so that means you're man enough to actually do some things. So why don't you go and also try and hustle and feed those particular people? So it comes also from a place of understanding that which caused that particular effect. And of course, like for someone like me, I've not really been in the dating arena. I just put myself off the market, especially after that instance, because I will tell you, as a matter of fact, Mercy, I actually wasn't able in that time to provide for these people. You see that? And it put me at a bad place, both physically, financially, and emotionally. I had to unlearn. You see that? I had to unlearn some things that the society had taught me. So I've been off dating. I've not been seeing anyone for like 3 years. Not that I can't, or rather, not that I'm not cute enough to actually get a babe, but it's from a point of I want this to spring off from the right place. You see that? Understanding that I have a kid. And now that puts a question also to the ladies. Can you date a guy who is having a kid elsewhere, but not living with them, or probably even living with them, but the lady is not there? You see that? Because also we have such instances in our community. I think it comes from a place of love and being intimate with that person. And that's why you see, for something like love, it cannot be bought. Because, for me, I've had ladies, I talk to them, they're like, Alpha, I'm so interested in you, and this, and this, and this. I have feelings for you. But for me, I usually ask them, you know what, may I have a son? What shall you do with that? You see that? So when you start bringing up such conversations, it tells you the particular person who you're about to engage with. You see that? And also it brings a point of love, that love does not take note of wrong. It's actually scriptural. It does not take note rather of that which is wrong or the wrongdoings of someone. So when you look at that, it can put you at a place of actually accommodating a person, but on the right parameters. Let's say she got a baby. The kid is, let's say, 2 years, 3 years now. How is the lady in terms of maturity? What is she doing in terms of providing for this kid? Has she now become responsible? Or is she now probably took the kid to the mom and is still doing the things that put her in that position? So it's from a place of also looking at things, but of course for a child of God, And for these especially, you know, I'm speaking from a place of where I'm at right now. I mean, I have so much in terms of discerning for a partner, so I cannot just jump into any lady. And of course, it's really an astounding factor for me, especially to know that aha, this is what happened to you. So how can we deal with it? Now you have two kids, you know, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. You want me to be your husband, so how can I deal with that? You see that? So it's from a place of not wanting to get yourself into a place that you cannot. That is why for me, I'll still take it back to scripture. You need to understand the genesis from which marriage is from. You see that? And all that comes with marriage. That is how you can actually put yourself in the right place. Because you'd find a lady who probably has a kid somewhere, but that is your soulmate. You probably met her late. You see that? So it just depends on what parameters. Or maybe she got to know God and you guys became compatible just by that sight. You see, so when the Lord joined you guys, it's from a place of the Lord will also provide, even emotionally, because you know most people are just looking at the physical. But the emotional part is really essential. If you connect with someone that you can actually put yourself at a place of anything that is wrong or bad about them fades at the point of love, then that is something genuine. Yes, yes.
Yeah, very true. And also, we told the past that does not define you. If at all you went through things, you love this man, didn't work out, who said that you didn't fall in love again? Who said that you didn't
Yes, yes.
find someone who is going to appreciate you the way you are? How involved is your family when it comes to finding a partner, a marriage partner?
For me, I'd say that I think there is almost negative, percentages on that side. And
Mhm.
I'd talk about that mostly. I think the only part that, you know, my mom and my dad got involved is when I told my mom that I actually have a son. You know, that is when she was like, hey, who is the lady? You know, what, all these kind of things. But, you know, I think for my father, he's never even been interested to meet the lady. You know, it's only a day I took the lady to my dad, you know, just for my father to see, you know, my child and all that. But, you know, I think the society has come to a place of not really bringing up kids in the right way, especially on that particular factor. And that happens um, precisely from university level. I mean, that level is putting our community in a very bad and dark state because these kids are so exposed and they put themselves at a place of they are finding out for themselves. I mean, what is it that I want in a woman? You know, you probably date 13 girls to find out that, hey, kumbe I don't like light babes. I probably, you know, I'm good with the ones who are a bit dark or something like that. So we've been put at an experiential place not to really discern the characters we want in a woman or rather in a wife. Because you know, a wife is not a girlfriend. A wife is not a lover. That is someone you are joined as one. That is you. It's literally you being mirrored on the other side, but now with feminine features. You see that? Because you know, it will also bring a point where someone very special to me, a man I honor so much, he's called, you know, Prophet Ronnie. He once said that for a man, the reason why a wife takes up your name, it's because you become one with her and you become responsible for her. So the day that you come to a group of men, or rather in the council of men, and you say that your wife is stupid, you're telling us how stupid you are. You see that? Because she has your name. So what shall you tell us about that? You see that? So also it comes from a place of people really need to come up on how to discern
Yeah.
what they want in a wife.
I also think that it's very important to, like for me, to protect if you're my husband, I need to protect you. If you're my wife, I need to protect you. It's really wrong for me to go and say my husband is stupid, my husband is thick, my husband is a dog and all. Those are things that that should not come out of your mouth. You're supposed to protect your husband because when things are good, who goes and tells the world, hey, my husband bought me a car, did what? We don't say that. But when things go bad, that's when you know how to badmouth them. And that just shows how unreal you are, because you shouldn't do that. You should be able to protect your partner, because you are not there when you chose that partner. We did not decide for you to choose that partner, you chose that partner for yourself. And when you come and give us the dirty linen, we only see you as the awkward one. Why are you telling me that? Ask this. For what reason? What are you supposed to do? If it's only stupid, what are you doing with him in the first place? You get? And we may not really understand where that is coming from because we do not know when things are good. So yes, it's very important that we protect the union that we are in, and we solve. Let our issues be internal. Let them not be external. And now I have an exciting activity I want us to do. I want us to do like a job interview, but not dating as a job interview. And I'm going to ask you questions. I'll be the lucky lady that you're interviewing for to like date and everything. And so hope you're ready. You're now, yes, you're now at an interview. Mr. Paul, you're here for the role of boyfriend. And I need to make it very clear to you that this is a full-time role. You'll work on holidays and weekends and lots of late nights. No part-time, no part-time job, no casual temporary work. So I have received your CV on email, and having gone through your CV, I would like to understand the reason for leaving your previous relationship.
I'd say incompetence and being ungodly. For me, it is key that I actually understand, or rather be with someone who can actually be in the kind of beliefs I'm in. By that, I'm speaking about if I have to be one with someone, at least we have to share some beliefs. So if you believe in your own things, I mean, it will put us at so much indifference. And of course, the other side, incompetence. I believe in someone who has character and someone who is respectful in terms of my friends, my family, and the people that I revere and honor so much. So if, I'll give you an instance for my past relationship. This lady, she was not so respectful to my friends. You see that? And these are my brothers. They just came in and, even without saying hi to them, she just went into the bedroom and locked herself out. So me and my boys, definitely for boys, we can prepare our food. I mean, it's not a big deal. But, when I asked her, she was saying that she was not feeling so well, but that's something I needed to know. You see that? She would have been like, you know what, babe, I'm not feeling so good. I'm so sorry. I cannot make you guys something, or rather, I cannot be of service to your friends. You see that? So that's something that I can fully understand. And also it comes from a place of honor. At least say hi to them. You see that? Because they are my friends. It should be a point of interest for you who I hang around. Because I mean, I get impartation, or rather, those people I hang around with, I become like them. You see that? So that at least when you say hi to my friends and you're like, hey, babe, you need to leave Johnny. Johnny is not taking me in the right way. I didn't like that guy, you see, because there you'll be protecting me because there's a particular side of that guy that you saw. So yes, that is it.
Okay, yes. And who left in the relationship? Who called it quits?
Well, she did out of being proud, because for me it was more of a rectifying kind of side for her to actually, know that I honor this kind of way, for you to actually respect my friends and all that. So when I mentioned it, she became all this proud about, so you value your friends over me, all these kind of things that, some ladies say, not all ladies, of course. So when she got to that place, for me, I'm more of a silent person. I don't argue. So I just let her be. So she was like, no, I can't do this anymore. All those texts. I think there's a day I woke up to almost, I don't know, 8 paragraphs on my phone. I think I haven't read them until today, so I just deleted them. So I knew what she was communicating, of course, because being a spiritual person, I actually got a dream about it, before she even did that. So it put me. It's hard for Alpha. I'll speak from a personal perspective, to surprise me on things. I am so attuned in the spirit that I can really catch on things even before they happen. So yes, she's the one who called it off, but of course, out of pride. Yes.
And when I look at your CV, it doesn't show enough experience in this field. A few part-time roles and one proper previous relationship. Can you explain?
Say what? Say that again, please.
When I look at your CV, it doesn't show enough experience in this field. There are a few part-time roles and one proper previous relationship, like a long-term relationship. Can you explain?
That's very interesting because well, I'm very experienced in that because I've really learned and known how to treat a woman and of course to honor her because I've really learned from my mom and I think partly from my dad because all my life I've never really hit any lady. By that I mean I've never been physical with any lady. You see that? Not in school, in primary school, not all through my sister, not the people I've dated. So I think it puts me at a place of there's a way I approach women. You see that? And there's a way I understand, women coming from a perspective of being someone who is supposed to be submissive to me. That means I play a very, very major role in her life in terms of ensuring that everything about her is fine. So I mean, I go out of my way to ensure that she's okay. Definitely, I have to, keep in touch with her because I'm very good at communicating, as you can tell from our conversation. I love to know how people are, and then from a place of truth, I love genuinely. So when I am really in that place, I can promise you that I am there. And of course, I was a playboy before. That was about 3 years back. But right now, it's a changed place, and also that gave me experience to really understand what I really want in a lady. You see that? But I'm not telling people to actually do that because there's a way now that you can actually know the character you really need from a lady, and I think that's where it puts me at. Yes.
Have you ever been in a situation of friends with benefits?
Not once, not twice. I can't count the numbers.
Mhm.
I think, Mercy, for me, I think you are so much in the spirit for you to choose this particular side because it's one of the sides of my life that has given me so much experience in terms of lessons. You see, these things, I don't think they work. Friends with benefit. What exactly are you benefiting? You see that? Is it the sex? Is it the money? You see that? But when you look at things, for you to be intimate with someone, I don't, where do you begin? You see that? I'm talking from this perspective as per now. I wouldn't know how to begin to tell a lady that, I probably want to have sex with her and I don't love her. Or rather, I'm not affectionate to her. I don't know how it begins. You see that? But the society has put us in a place of, or rather, has put this generation in a place of that sex is not primarily based on love, based on affection. It's just based on, it's desire and it's there, I can access it. You see that? And also, it's coming from not the very best of sides. So, yes, I've had those that were not really beneficial, as they are called, because I cannot tell you how they benefited me until now. It was just a proper waste of time, and the highest level of stupidity and ignorance. Yes.
And where do you see yourself in 5 years?
If the Lord is not back by then, I'll be having this very beautiful wife and about 2 kids. Living so well because currently I'm living so well, but I really want to experience the blessing that comes with a wife. At least I am trusting God for that because I believe the Lord will come after I've had my 2 kids, and it's a beautiful place. I think about it every day. I've had dreams about it. So I'm talking from a place of a beautiful future, if I can summarize it in few words. And it's definitely something I'm looking forward towards, and it's glorious. I can already tell. Yes.
Can you describe yourself in 3 words?
Um, um, a son of God, um, smart, and love. Yes.
Okay. Now, based on our interview, it's clear that you are looking forward to having a relationship with somebody else, since the interview was being a relationship with me as the interviewer. But it's just about being married 5 years. You're not talking about me. So basically, I think you failed in this particular interview because you're not talking about me. But I appreciate you coming through and you sharing your experiences. And it is today's dating is not the same as it was years ago. So many things have changed. There's a lot to understand from the male perspective to the female perspective. And I appreciate you coming in to enlighten us on what you men are forced to go through to accommodate us as your girlfriend, as your wife, the changes that have come with all that. And let me ask you one final question, yeah?
Yes, yes.
There's a lot of cheating happening in marriages and relationships. And nowadays, women feel like, see, he's also cheating, so why shouldn't I go cheat? What is your opinion about that?
I'd say it's simply, I think it's out of ignorance, and it's not really a good thing to want to say that it's probably the male that cheat more or is the female that cheat more, because that's an ignorant statement. Because I believe, if let's say, let me give you a good example. Oh, by the way, I have a different opinion. I did not fail the interview. I know why I did not fail. You see that? The reason why I did not fail is because I put it out there for you to actually interact with that which I was telling you, for you to know me better. You see that?
Okay.
And for you to actually get to see that this guy is this kind of person. You see that? But of course, on the other side of the question, uh, people have become ignorant of the fact that having one partner can actually satisfy you in everything. You see that? And most people are coming from a point of most cheating kind of things, or rather factors in a family, come from a place of sex. You see that? Or rather intimacy, or rather affection. Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's so sad that people nowadays are not able to actually control their emotions, or rather control their desires. And that's not a good place. You see, when you make a vow, when you make a commitment to actually be with a particular woman, you'd rather keep your word. You see that? Because I mean, why would you even do it in the first place? You had all the time to choose that this is what I want. I want to be with multiple women. And at some point, you should have mentioned it to your wife, or rather, you should have told your husband that, man, for me, I need more wood for the fire. You see that? That was a place whereby you would have been understood. And then, if the guy was okay with that, then definitely he would have, been in agreement. But you see, when you put yourself at a place of cheating, it describes how ignorant you are on the commitments you make. That means there is really nothing that you can take care of, maybe as a man or as a woman, because it shows that, first of all, you're ignorant to commitment, but second of all, you do not honor that which you get yourself into. So I mean, it's good enough for people to actually control their desires, or rather their emotions, and also to understand that you going out to cheat does not really say bad things about your wife. You see, as a man going out to cheat, it tells what kind of a man you are. It does not say that your woman does not satisfy you, or rather she's not affectionate enough. Because in the first place, you should have talked to your woman about it. You know what? Babe, this is not pleasing me, or rather, I'm not satisfied in this sphere of our relationship. You see that? So also, communications needs to be enhanced in terms of marriages. People need to speak out more on issues that matter, because I promise you, you find some people who get married because they want to have sex every day, or rather they want to have access to a woman every day. There are different factors to which people, get married, and that is also a solid point that people need to look at. Why are you being in a relationship with this lady? What is it that you seek out? Is it that she has a nice body that you can have her in bed every day, or is it her character? The way she smiles, the way she interacts with people. Is it the way she works? Is it what she has? You see that? So when you come from that perspective, then you can understand that, you know what? I chose her. You know, Today I was thinking of something, and it really hit me in a very large way. I was just coming on my way home, preparing for this meeting, and then something was mentioned to me, and then I just thought about it. I was like, why have I had probably a relationship in the past, and then probably, let's say, let me give you an instance that happened to me probably in university. I was in this place with my friends, and then I had this girl. Of course, we'd just come from having sex and all those kind of things. And then now later on, another friend of mine who was not in the same house, or rather who did not know that this lady, we were with her, or rather we were having something with her, came and was actually attracted to her. You see that? And then he started coming and speaking about, how he wants to have her, be intimate with her and all these kind of things. So I was just remembering that as I was in the car coming home. And then I was putting a question to myself. What is it that we really seek out for? And even scripture says, what is it that you came to see? You see that what is it that brought you to that place? Why is it that you desire to actually be intimate with this woman? Is it just lust? Are you just craving to have sex to satisfy yourself, just for the few minutes or for the few hours that you want? What is it? What is the depth? Because something like lust, it doesn't last long. Probably for a male, once you ejaculate, it is there and it is gone. You see that you're no longer even probably interested to look at that lady, because you're from a place of, I've already satisfied myself. And these things are so spiritual, because I would ask you, how does that feeling go away? Because it's not about the sex, it's not about the physical engagement. It means it is springing forth from a higher place, and that is what people don't usually want to go into the depth of. You see that? That's why you see, I can strongly tell you that it is very key for a man, especially, I'll speak from a place of a man, because we are mostly the ones who engage these things. For you to know, why do you want this lady? Why is it that you think about her, probably, having sex with her? Where is this coming from? Where is it springing out from? Is it the way she dresses that probably she's provocative? Is it the way she is as a person that you want to, probably you have affection for her and want to get intimate with her? Is it because of your lust that you probably can't control your desires? You see that? So when such questions are put up, especially in a relationship, it will really sort out a lot of issues that lead up into marriage. Yes, yes.
I would like us to end this on a lighter note. For your information, prior to our interview, I talked to your referees, and in this case, I talked to your previous girlfriend, and she had something very interesting to tell me. She said that you're a good guy, but there are areas that you could improve on. She said that you snore very loudly at night, and you're always in a hurry, even when you're supposed to take your time. I think you understand.
I'm always in a.
You're always in a hurry, even when you're supposed to take your time.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yes. Is it true that you're always in a hurry, even when you're not supposed to take your time?
First of all, that is probably a girlfriend that is so jealous of me having you. I'd say it as simply as that. First, because I don't snore, so I don't know where she got that from. That's why I'm telling you she's a jealous one. The second thing, I am so much interested in detail. I am a very detailed person. I would not let you come out of the house with your coat if it's not well ironed, or your shirt if it's not well ironed. So why wouldn't I take my time on some things? I'm a person who is deep in pleasure, in conversations, in all these things. I'm not the very light person. And of course it depends. I'm engaging up to the perspective or the level which you can engage. There are some people, if you take them into deep conversations, they end up getting messed. You see that? So that's why I'm saying for that particular report, that's probably a very, very, very jealous girlfriend. You should ask her if she wants me back. We can solve some things.
I'll probably think about calling you again.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us. And thank you so much for the interactive interview. I appreciate so much. And hope we can have more and more to talk about. We'll think of topics to talk about. We want someone who is very open-minded. I also appreciate the way you're willing to for us to engage in every topic. You never had like a no to this and no to that. So I really appreciate, and I hope that you can have more and have you with us to discuss more about your life. And once you get your madam right, we can always have another interview with the two of you, and so you can enlighten us on how you went about finding her, and you say that it is her that will let you go on with the life. Thank you so much. This is TBC-InTV with Alpha Paul Mwangi. Thank you.
Fantastic.